Hey everybody, it's Golmadex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Duskmourn House of Horror with one alchemy card added to each pack. These alchemy draft queues are only up for 1 week, so I like to pretty much exclusively draft these queues while they're around. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. I feel like Enduring Vitality is a strong enough rare that we probably should take it here, strictly trying to win, but we don't have too much time to play with these alchemy cards, and this one seems pretty fun. This is a 2 mana instant speed edict effect. It's going to make your opponent sacrifice a non-token creature, and then you get to conjure a duplicate of that card into your graveyard. So in a lot of the black decks in the format, you can have some graveyard recursion or delirium stuff where you get a little bit of value from putting your opponent's card into your graveyard. So pretty fun little thing there. I think it is certainly weaker than the rare, but it's the new alchemy hot stuff, and we're not going to have a lot of time to play with those cards. Pick 2, strictly trying to win. Sheltered by Ghosts is the pick here, being an excellent removal spell that even buffs your creature up, making it a lifelinking warding threat. Super hard to outrace that card if you slap it onto a flyer or any kind of evasive threat, but we have another pretty sweet alchemy card, and it actually plays pretty well in the same kind of deck that a Replicating Terror would be. Green-black has a lot of self-mill, graveyard recursion, maybe even reanimator effects, where both of these cards are going to benefit from being in that archetype. The Wary Zone Guard wants us to have stuff in our graveyard when we play it, so that we can pick up a land the turn we play it, and the Replicating Terror wants us to have cards that care about what's in our graveyard, so they're both going to fit pretty well together, and we get to try out two new cards together here. Pick number 3, the alchemy cards have run dry here, as has the rare. I think Enduring Tenacity is just pretty narrow. It's obviously good in a life gain deck, but there is no dedicated life gain strategy in the format. Black, white, and blue black, I think, come the closest, because white has some life linkers, and blue black's uncommon is a flying life linker that plays really well with that. But not really going to be a green-black card here. So we have the Say Its Name to fill our graveyard and get a little bit of graveyard recursion, picking up our best creature or land from grave, or the Overgrown Zealot. This is going to be mana fixing and ramp. I like taking the Zealot here, getting that ramp early. Say Its Name's a good card, but I think we can grab a couple copies a little later than premium uncommons like the Zealot here. Pick 4, there's the Wary Watchdog, great 2-drop for filling the graveyard, making sure you can still trade off with the more aggressive decks. So that's pretty reasonable. Bashful Beastie is solid at the top end, or we can go for one of the strongest cards in the pack, going for something off-color, taking like Arabella here as the strongest card. We'd have to ditch everything we've taken so far, but if we were strictly trying to win, then that would be perfectly reasonable to do. And if we took the best card out of every pack rather than the alchemy cards, we'd have a great white uncommon now. So that to go with the Arabella would be pretty sweet. But I think we've got a reasonable space here. I'm going to grab the Watchdog, continue in this direction. Pick 5, Spineseeker Centipede is excellent. It's going to mana fix us and be just a nice little body to trade off with or sacrifice. Definitely like it better than all the black spells. Piggy Bank's probably the strongest card in the pack by a little bit, but it's only like a tiny bit better than Centipede. Centipede is pretty great. Pick 6 now. Wow. Pick 6, Razorkin Horde-Caller. Well, I am passing up on a removal spell for it, getting rid of the Coordinated Clobbering, but if we're going to see that, pick 6, and all these Piggy Banks relatively late, red looks like a really good color to be in. Yeah, if we had just been on the Boros train after the Arabella, would probably be in a really good deck right now. Okay, pick 7, another Spineseeker Centipede. Dang. Yeah, that is the one thing about these draft pods. When you replace a common with an alchemy card in the play booster era, these packs that already could have had 2 or 3 rares and like 3 to 5 uncommons could now have like 4 rares and 5 uncommons, and just so many powerful cards that you get a lot of the really good commons super, super late. So Centipede and Zealot both looking really good here. It's where it's weird, like we're seeing incredible red cards late, but there's still great green. It's like we're not getting cut off of green particularly. Almost looks like just everything is open in the alchemy drafts. Strangled Cemetery is nice fixing. Beastie's fine at the top of the curve. It is quite solid for its cost. It's just you can't run a whole ton of 5-drops, so they're a little more replaceable even if they are decent. Unless they're like really good like Horde Caller. I think I'd take the Cemetery over the Vile Mutilator here. Although it plays fine with Spine Seeker Centipedes. Yeah, no, I'm just going to take the Cemetery. Pick 9. Alright, finally things are running a little bit dry. We'll just get the green-red fixing now. Looks like we're junding people out. Not a big fan of these black commons, or even let's play a game. In the right matchup, this is a blowout, where you get to like kill one of their creatures and make them discard 2, sometimes even more than that. But generally hasn't been impressive to me. It's a little bit too matchup dependent. I'm just going to get the Playmate, so that if we go red, green, Delirium at the core, we've got some good 2-drops that hit good Delirium card types. And that feels like a possibility with how late we saw the Razorkin Horde Caller. Alright. So green-red looks most likely, getting most valuable Slayer, pick 14, when that's a super playable card in aggressive decks. But we're still a little open here with the excellent fixing we have between 2 Centipedes and an Overgrown Zealot. So our pack 2, pick 1. Our Alchemy rare. Whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, you conjure a duplicate of this to your hand. You have to discard at the end step. But I guess the more you do it, the more duplicates you get, right? Like, say you play this, and then on turn 4 you play a 2-mana enchantment, get a duplicate into your hand and play that. Once you have 6 mana on board, you could do another turn where you play a 2-mana enchantment, and then both of your Processionists would conjure a duplicate. That's really fun. It's also very much designed for like the blue-white enchantments deck. It's not going to fit super well into green-white or even red-white if we ditch to the green. So I think we're just going to take our on-color rare here. Fear of Missing Out is a very reasonable aggro rare. 2 mana, 2/3 means it's overstated for its mana cost, and if you manage to get Delirium, you can get a second combat step with one of your creatures, which is pretty sick. So pack 2, pick 2, Manifest Dread now is an excellent way to fill that Delirium quickly to get the Fear of Missing Out, attacking for 1,000,000 to get the Centipedes to actually be 3/3s with Vigilance, so on and so forth. Pretty easy Manifest Dread here. No Alchemy card in this pack to check out. And the other on-color stuff is a pretty expensive creature or a pretty narrow removal spell. Alright, pick 3. We actually get an on-color Alchemy card here, and it actually plays well in our potential green-red Delirium deck. The Eager Flame Guide being an enchantment creature, those are 2 good card types for Delirium. And when it enters, we get 3 colorless mana to cast on creature spells. So if we play this turn 4, like, say we play a 3-drop turn 3 like a Spine Seeker Centipede to grab our 4th land, then turn 4 play a Flame Guide and a Most Valuable Slayer in the same turn, could be really, really gross with that mana discount there with the right hand. And not only that, when this dies, you're potentially drawing another creature out of the top 2. Seems pretty great. Pick 4. Another Manifest Dread is super fine here. Break Down the Door is decently flexible, and Turn It Inside Out is a pretty great trick. We're on basically exclusively creatures right now. Our one non-creature spell is a Saw, or maybe a Replicating Terror if we splash it in. So I do think I need to get some combat tricks and removal and that kind of stuff into the deck. So let's grab the good combat trick while it's here. Get the Turn Inside Out. We need some non-creatures in this deck. Glimmerlight is fine. Watchdog is fine. Actually getting all the solid 2-mana creatures this time around to actually be able to get the good aggro going. Violent Urge is an okay late game trick. If you can get the double strike off of it, sometimes get a free kill. Kind of interested in the Keys to the House though, because this is good in every Delirium deck. Just cycle it away, have an artifact in your graveyard and fix your mana. Take the keys here. Replace land with that. Pick 6, wow. Yeah, pick 6 is wild here. We have Under the Skin for excellent graveyard recursion. 3 mana 2/2 plus draw a card. I feel like this card's just so good on rate that I'm gonna take it over Betrayer's Bargain and just have like no removal. I don't know. No, God, Under the Skin is in a vacuum the better card, but we have no removal yet. So I'll play it safe. We'll get the bargain there. Pick 7, we can definitely use another 5-drop. We have double Centipede ramping up, maybe even the Zone Guard ramping. So just having the single Horde Caller is not quite enough. We'll definitely throw a Beastie in there. Pick 8, nothing here. I'm just going to rare draft. If I don't own a playset yet, then I work up towards it. And if I do have a playset, then this is 20 gems, which is much more valuable than a Vicious Clown for this deck. Pick 9. Doubt we're playing any of this, but Landcycler is always fine filler if you don't make enough playables by the end of the draft. Another Beastie's fine. Break Down the Door is nice and flexible here. Like seeing that come back around, and this sort of counts towards that non-creature count. There's enough artifact creatures, enchantment creatures, rooms, equipment, stuff like that, that this works like a pseudo removal spell. Another Landcycler. We can play it for now. Very reasonable little Gruul deck here. Not super exciting. Certainly not a bad one. Let's see what we get out of pack 3. We got the same rare again, Replicating Terror. Well, we have 2 copies of Most Valuable Slayer, so turn 3 Fear of Being Hunted into turn 4 Most Valuable Slayer can be pretty devastating. Our opponent's going to need a piece of removal to disrupt one half of that combo, either kill the Slayer or kill the Fear. Or that can really take over a board and force our opponent into a ton of bad blocks where we just eat up their board. Second copy of Fear of Being Hunted, don't mind if I do. Taking it over a Drag to the Roots here as a splashable removal spell, since we do have a little bit of fixing between Cemetery, Keys to the House, Double Centipede. But I think the Fear of Being Hunted Valuable Slayer combo is strong enough to do that. I don't know if that I would take it over on-color removal like Betrayer's Bargain, because we do need removal real bad, but we can definitely take it over removal that we'd have to splash at least. Alright, now we kind of have to just take Beastie Beat down for dang sure. Get more removal into the deck, as much as I would like another Manifest Dread. Got 3 lands right now, so we're on 24 non-lands, probably exactly where we want to be. So every time we draft another playable, we'll make another cut. Lower the curve a little bit more, get real aggressive, get a 2-drop, and cut a 3. Long Neck seems the worst of the 3-drops. Get another Horde Caller. That's good enough. I'll take it over Emergence. And we'll cut one of the Landcyclers. Pick 6. Alright, we get another Monstrous Emergence anyway. We've got Bargain, Beatdown, Breakdown, and Emergence now. Manifest Dread, real good at getting Delirium, but got some pretty good 2-drops. And we still are definitely in the market for removal. So I'm going to take Emergence here and cut the Branch Snapper. Now we're running no Landcyclers. Pick 7. Don't really need the gem in a 2-color deck. Don't think I'll play the Recollection or any of these 2-drops even. Not going to play a Bear Trap. I don't need removal that bad. I'm just going to rare draft again. Alright, pick 8. Well, pick 8, Swarm Weaver? We found our black spell. We found our splash. Sure. Join the party. Now we can cut Saw, probably. Definitely splash that in off a single swamp here. The only issue would be if I manifest the swamp. I'm in a little bit of a bad spot, but I'd still have Cemetery and Zealot if I get unlucky and manifest the swamp at some point. Playmate's a possibility. Pick 10. Razor Trap Gorge gives us another black source Or if we randomly mill the swamp, could take the drag to the roots as well, but now I'm feeling okay on the removal. Not great, but with 2 fear of being hunted as well, I think we're right where we need to be. Pick 11. I don't think I have room for long neck, but I certainly don't have room for survivor or razorkin. Play a root-wise survivor over a beastie. Almost rather have the violent urge as an option. Just feels like another decent replacement level 5 drop. I'm actually very happy to see Manifest Dread last pick. That definitely helps this deck out. Getting to that Delirium for our Centipedes, our Beastie Beatdown, our Swarm Weaver, all that good stuff. So first and foremost, we cut at least 1 land just for the keys to the house here. Let's ditch one of those. And then we have 4 more cuts to go. Let's go ahead and sort by creature or Oracle Text Manifest. So all our Manifest Dread cards show up in the creature stack. Although I do still want to count these as spells. We can go like 50-50 on them. The rest of our Manifest Dread cards are just straight up creatures. So we're on 19 creatures and 2 Manifest Dreads. It's like 21 creatures. And then these 2 sort of. I think we're cutting exclusively creatures then at this point. I mean, we could maybe cut another land. So I'm essentially on a 17 land deck right now because it's 16 and a keys. And this deck might be okay to just be a 16 land deck because it also has Zealot double Centipede. Even Zone Guard if I manage to Manifest Dread before I play that. Yeah, another land is definitely an option. I mean, we'll see how good the creatures we have to cut are going to end up being. And if I feel really sad, like I cut some really good creatures here, maybe we'll cut a land for one of them. So 4 cuts, we're going to go just entirely creatures here. How are our card types looking? 4 artifacts, 4 enchantments, 4 instants, 4 sorceries. So I just want to cut flesh and blood creatures here. We don't want to cut artifact creatures, we don't want to cut enchantment creatures, which means, you know, Playmate, not the most useful ability ever, but the fact that it's artifact creature for Delirium is a big deal. So here's all of our non-artifact, non-enchantment creatures. I could see the curve just stopping with 2 Horde Callers. Probably don't need the double Beastie, especially if I cut another land. Cut another land and really just stop the curve at the top end here. Feels fine. Yeah, these all feel like the most cuttable cards. Still 5 2-drop creatures. Not bad, but I'd like a little more than that, so go full aggro with Watchdog, or we can make sure the Swarm Weaver splash is as consistent as possible with Zealot. Those are the 2 best cards to keep in, I think. Or I could cut another land and keep both in, actually. Since we're lowering the curve, playing it out this way. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Cut 1 more land here, so just check the green and red count. 14 red cards, 11 green. However, green gives us access to Zealot and both Centipedes, which can give us more red mana. So I still want to be on basically an even split here. And I'm currently on 8 red sources and 8 green sources. Dang it, I'm already on an even split. Awkward. I have to prioritize one over the other. There is more red than green, but the green has the Centipedes and the Zealot. The red has the fear of being hunted, though, where I need double red, ideally on turn 3. Could be wrong, but I'm going to lean towards our fear of being hunted and go 8 red, 7 green. And that's it. That's our deck. We will call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how it does. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1 with excellent mana. We can cast every spell in our deck with this hand. especially with the centipede here as well. Ditch a card, draw a card right now. Just surveil for now. I'm cool with all 4 of these lands. Just if I hit a 5th, I'll want to definitely get rid of that. Gremlin Tamer. Alright, let's trade with that. Against blue-white, there are way too many ways to trigger that Eerie all over the place. And we need to get that off the board before they get a 1/1 gremlin to just eat our 3/1. That'd be pretty bad. Meatlocker, stun the watchdog, fair enough. Get some fear of being hunted damage in here. Jam for 4. Whee! So I've got enchantment and creature engrave. Keys to the house gives me artifacts. We just need to draw an instant or a sorcery to hit full delirium for fear of missing out. Fear of missing out does not have haste, so I will probably want to play that the turn before I get delirium ideally. It's a big scavenger. Yep, we need to find removal for that scavenger ASAP. That is another just must-kill threat for the blue-white deck. Okay. Play Centipede and Fear of Missing Out. I guess Fear of Missing Out can just discard the keys to the house to get the artifact engrave that we need, so that works fine. I don't think we really have any way to deal with this scavenger in green-red. We're going to have to just go wide. End up with a lot more creatures on board than our opponent. So they can only block like 1 and everybody else gets in and tries to kill. 6 toughness is just so much for damage-based removal. Ooh. I'll happily just take 6 to the face, though. With our opponent at 13. Alright, well, if they have a counterspell, I have literally 1 spell to play for the rest of the game. So if they have a counterspell, they're going to get my Horde Caller. The only issue here is technically, if it's the counter, unless I pay 2, I could wait a turn and then try it. But it's just as likely to be the counter no matter what, in which case it's way better to just play it right now. Or if they don't have the counter, then it's infinitely better to play it right now. If they just have removal or something, yeah, sure, I'll redraw that. I will happily take another 6, so get in, everybody. Wait, they're dead. That's their only option, they're dead. They block the 4/4, take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's go. Horde Caller MVP. That is lethal. Start things off 1-0, heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. I doubt we can keep no red sources with 3 red spells in hand. If I don't hit red, I don't do anything till turn 3, and at that point all I do is manifest. Yeah, that's a mole. This is not much better, but if we can draw 1 land, then this hand plays quite well thanks to Centipede, so it's certainly less risky. But it could go wrong, but mulliganing to 5 will essentially always go wrong. We're just guaranteed to be down several cards, starting with a 5-card hand. Uh-oh. Do not like you, Reluctant Role Model. Reluctant Role Model on the play as well. Probably just going to blow up whatever I put here. I don't have the second red source to flip the fear of being hunted up. And they're probably just going to clear the path anyway. So I would rather just fill the graveyard for Delirium as quickly as possible there. Okay. Glimmer Seeker is another ridiculous survival card. Survival's such a rough mechanic because it's so powerful on the play and useless on the draw, but sadly they're on the play, so it is looking terrifying right now. You got it. Get your 1/1. Ooh, Enduring Courage, the full curve out here. Well, can set up some decent blocks here, make it pretty hard for Glimmerseeker to attack in and just kill the role model. As long as I can have Manifest Dread hit an instant or a land. Come on. Come on, hit a land, please. Well, we hit an instant, close enough. Land would have been perfect, because then the Zone Guard would have been really good on a future turn. But yeah, now we have just fantastic blocks. I think I'm spreading out my my threats here. So with the flip ups, this is now a 4/4 and 2 3/3s, which is pretty good. Swarm Weaver in hand. Am I on full defense? I think so, with Swarm Weaver in hand. I could trade Centipede into their Enduring Courage. They'll still get the benefit of all of its abilities, though. And then all they need to do to get Glimmerseeker to draw them a card is spend one removal spell on this. And I just really don't want them to start getting Glimmerseeker value. The 1/1's fine, but the card draw is quite an issue. Alright, there's their Flame Guide. Just gonna get doubled up with another creature here. Courage into Flame Guide is super gross, because that's gonna make it really easy to double spell. Okay, they don't have another creature though, so it's fine. No value from the Flame Guide mana. Will jam into my face for a turn though. Alright, they're out of cards. Feels like we can absolutely take over the game with Swarm Weaver when they're playing off the top, so let's just do that. Play a Swarm Weaver, start hitting them for 4 a turn. Pretty soon I get to start holding up Betrayer's Bargain to be incredibly safe. Sure, you can exile the top 2 cards of your deck, and if one of them is a creature, you can be happy. One of them is a creature, it's Arabella. Actually kind of bad on their board right now. They only have one other creature with power 2 or less. And obviously Arabella's just going to die when she attacks. Oh, they're not even going to cast her? Holding up 5 mana? Is this the 5 mana destroy target creature, I guess? I don't know, maybe. Alright, I'm in the market of holding up Betrayer's Bargain for the rest of this game to be real safe. So let's just hit them for 4 or 5 times in a row. Dragonfire is what they're holding up. Sure. Guess I could bargain the Swarm Weaver away so that it's not exiled. Not that it matters, I don't actually have Graveyard Recursion. But just, since it's gonna die anyway, get the mana discount without actually sacking a creature. Exile Enduring Courage, they've got an Arabella playing off the top. I don't think so. I think I'm still just holding on to Bargain. Because Bargain's going to enable like a really good Wary Zone Guard attack, where they have to like double block. I blow it up to make sure the guard sticks around and gets bigger. And the Bargain lets me, if they top deck removal to kill my 4/4, sack my 4/4 to kill the Glimmerseeker and make sure they don't get a survival trigger. Just another big deal. Cool. Fear of being hunted. None of their blocks are great, but I don't get to hold up red when I do that. Alright, yeah, that part's rough. Just flip up a centipede. Might just be a flip up a centipede turn. Cool thing about Fear missing out that I'm just noticing, even if you don't discard a card, you draw a card. So if we can play Fear of Missing Out on an empty hand, that'll be really good value. As is this. If they don't have a great trick. Alright, they don't. Now is their turn, though, where they have a window to top deck a removal spell and get a Glimmer Seeker attack in. Not a removal spell, but now Glimmer Seeker trades on the attack, which will still absolutely take the trade. Okay. Alright. Well, Fear of Being Hunted attack's pretty bad, but Zone Guard attack's great. Flip up a Centipede. Next turn, cast whatever we draw, and a Fear of Missing Out. Zone Guard is just taking over this game. Midnight Mayhem is excellent here. Yeah, that is bonkers with Lionheart Glimmer. 3/2/2 Menace Lifelinks. Gain 6. Yeah, it's a pretty good draw. It's a pretty good draw. Yep, 5 blocks suck. And they gain a ton of life. Well, yeah, no, the blocks still suck. They kill the Fear of Being Hunted. Yes, Fear of Being Hunted can never attack past the Glimmer either. Just block there. Yeah, rough. Okay. Ragged Playmate. That is so good with Fear of Missing Out. That's kind of sick. That makes me look smart. This whole time I was just playing the Ragged Playmates for Delirium reasons, but I just realized the double Playmate also plays really well with Fear of Missing Out, because Fear of Missing Out has to attack to get its trigger. And it's not the biggest creature to survive that attack. But with Playmate, it definitely will. Alright, if they go runner and just hit 2 Midnight Mayhems in a row, we lose. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty solid here. Untap target creature gets another phase. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We hit the Zone Guard for sure. I guess I could have picked Fear of Missing Out and put them to 1. But 1 is not 0, so rather just whittle down their board and make a lethal crackback less likely. Kill them next turn. Alright, there's the concession, and we are 2-0 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are on the play speedrunning Delirium with this hand. Got enchantment creatures everywhere. I got the Manifest Dread. If I can hit a land next turn for the Zone Guard, that'd be insane. Ew. Well, these are really good types for Delirium, but I really need a land right now, and I would have also loved one engraved for the Zone Guard. This might be wrong, because technically if I put the Playmate on the board, I could flip it up later, but I highly doubt it's going to stick around long enough that we're going to want to flip it up just for that ability. I think it's more likely we just want to get 2 card types engraved for Delirium faster. So like here I can trade Fear of being hunted off, and then I'm at full Delirium already. Yeah, and then full Delirium for when I play Beatdown and Fear Missing Out and Zone Guard. And well, Zone Guard doesn't care, but looks good. This Betrayer's Bargain also hits full Delirium. So I could play Fear of Missing Out now to set up a Delirium attack next turn. If I discard an enchantment creature, that's also instant Delirium for next turn. Interesting. I don't have a good choice for what to discard right now, though. To discard, then draw. I have to just ditch the Zone Guard or something? Yeah, I really don't want to do that. Let's just make sure this Alchemy Aerialist nonsense doesn't happen. This thing turns into a flyer, and their next creature they draw turns into a flyer, and then the next one. Our deck is not very resilient to flyers. We have to play hard removal to clear those out. Okay. 2/3 body. A little annoying, but not necessary to kill. We can just play the Zone Guard. The only issue I've got with Vicious Clown is if they have the excellent uncommon, it does a lot of damage. The Midnight Gremlins. It's about the one thing that could go wrong when your opponent has Vicious Clown. Cheerleader's fine. Alright, well, the full curve out is also kind of bad, but we can take 6. With the Midnight thingy, it's like 8 damage. Where are the lands? No. I have to FOMO a Horde Caller to hit a land drop here. I might. I guess if I'm hitting a land drop, then I'm going to be close to Horde Caller. We actually just get rid of Emergence, because Beatdown and Bargain are both better ways to remove things. Oh, it's painful. $14 life to $18 life. We get a 2-for-1 here, that's fine. And on blocks, I think we're going to be putting our face down on the Vicious Clown and casting Turn Inside Out, and putting our 2/3 on a 2/2. Valiant Emberkin. Does it double the Vicious Clown triggers? No, it doubles triggers from cards that get targeted by things. So I don't think it really works with very many cards in the set. It's obviously designed for the red-white mice deck in Bloomborough. Man, it is scary here, though. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. Yep, that's pretty bad. I have to lose my Fear of Missing Out now. Well, if there's a way to lethal them on the crackback, we just do that. 2 combat steps, Turn Inside Out on Wary Zone Guard, or actually even Beatdown on Zone Guard. Means hit for 8, they're dead. If Fear of Missing Out lives, they're dead. So I can just trump and then kill them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're dead. They might even just be dead on board here. Probably not, but they're super, super dead to Turn Inside Out. Because we get to have another attacker here, and then Beatdown's going to put 2 counters onto the Zone Guard for its attacks. Yeah. super mega overkill lethal. And that is game 3-0, heading into game 4. All right. Game number 4, we're going to have Delirium for anything we draw into. For sure. And we've got perfect mana for anything we draw into. The only thing that could go wrong here really is Flood. We've already top decked the land, so we're already at 5. So pretty much every land is just Flood at this point. Smoky Lounge for Boros. Interesting. I mean, if they're running it, then it's going to be worth exiling, I imagine. Against Boros, we're supposed to trade with the orphans early here to keep them off of any survival nonsense. It's so strange. Yeah, I mean, I think we just exile this. The Flood continues, though. Awkward draws. Okay. Guess I'll flip this up. Or at least our opponent does not have anything going on either. That's a turn. They might have a counterspell here for us to be a little sad. Nope. Removal before the attack? Nope. Flash creature? Sort of. 1/1. Not an impactful one. So just take the full 6, go to 14. Nico. 3/4 plus a draw 2 at minimum. Even if we trade into Nico immediately, that's pretty bad. They're up 2 cards now. And if we don't, we can never play removal for the rest of the game. Oh my god, Nico in Ethereal Armor. Well, at least Playmate plus Horde Caller is something here. Nico's just gonna ravage us, though. They hit any decent creature to flicker, turn their shards into. So we're just going to slowly get the board state wider and wider off of Ragged Playmate. Might be too slowly, because Nico Shepherding Spirits is like 8 damage a turn. I do have a land engrave. There's not really a reason not to pretend I have something here. We have so much mana. Yep. The saw is on the spirits, and the second saw. Infamous second saw. 8 damage. Ooh, boy. Is Nico instant speed as well, so they can have 3 blockers up? Yep, so they essentially have 3 blockers up. Because they tap Nico, exile spirits, they have 2 spirits and a 1/1 as blockers. 2 spirits, 1/1, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They survive an all attack and then just kill us next turn. Because next turn they use Nico again. Make both of their shards 4/5 flyers. Put both of the saws on one of them, and that's exactly 12. Yep, we just lose. This is just flood, pretty much. Still really close, but just like probably like one more spell from winning. But yeah, we're dead on the crackback. In the sky to Nico's ability. Now they don't even have to do it the fancy way, I guess. Actually, no, they still do, because I can chump Nico. But again, they have 8 power in the sky and 2 saws for +4/+0, which means they have 12 power in the sky. Off of Nico turning the shards into 4/5 flyers. Are they going to miss lethal here? I think they tapped out a lethal already. 4 mana, 2 for Nico on spirits, 2 4/5 flyers. They can equip 1 saw, but they can't equip both saws anymore. I don't know if we kill them on that. We probably do. Kill them on the crackback. I guess if they just don't attack now, then we don't, right? The 4 blockers. No, that's still exact lethal. 4 blockers against 7 attackers. Hold up. I think they punted it. Ooh, especially with a violent urge. Extra 1 point of damage to make sure it's lethal. I mean, we're going to do it because they have onboard lethal on the crackback, so even if I miscounted and this isn't a lethal attack, we have to go for it, just like last turn. Because again, they could have flickered the spirits so that these are both 4/5 flyers, equipped a saw to each of them, and attacked for 12. And that is still something they can do on board. Yep. Surprised I don't have Delirium. I guess it's because I picked up the land. Do you have to pick up the land? You don't have to. Maybe I shouldn't have picked up the land. I didn't realize it was shutting off Delirium to do that. That is exact lethal, though. Cool. Really didn't expect that one. Really didn't. Because they did have onboard lethal. It was kind of tricksy onboard lethal, though, so easy to miss. Or maybe they just got overexcited about the apparition. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. We misplayed as well over here. The picking up a land was the land we just didn't need it at that point, and I didn't realize it was our 4th card type for Delirium. So that could have mattered. Like, if they would have survived this attack at like 3 life, that would have been the difference between Violent Urge being lethal or not here. Because then I could have Violent Urged a 1/1 and dealt 3 more damage. Instead of hitting them for 1 with a 1/1, I'd be hitting them for 4 with a 2/1 double strike. So definitely could have mattered there. So we'll have to keep that in mind in the future. Maybe sometimes just Delirium's important enough that we don't actually want to pick up the land on the Zone Guard. Close game there, but just narrowly make it through somehow, and we are 3-0. No, we're 4-0? Ooh, it's a quick one. It's a sweet one. We are breaking even now and at a positive win rate, no matter what happens from here. All right, Swarm Weaver hand. I see you. I need double red, so I'm going to start with this land. Try to work towards Fear of Being Hunted, Most Valuable Slayer combo. Uh-oh. Mountain, mountain. Everybody cheer with me. We need it next turn. Come on, mountain, mountain, mountain. No! Alright, that's not bad, though. That fuels Delirium quite well. Well, I found a Fear of Being Hunted anyway. See, I got it on board. It's just unflippable. Mountain, mountain. Now I really need a land, but it can be any land at this point. Emergence, alright. I am fine with that. That's an aggressive use of removal. Sick. We got the mountain. Delirium Swarmweaver is 6 power on this board. As much as I would love to Slayer into Fear of Being Hunted, I imagine that is just enough stats to be worth putting the raw power and toughness on the board right now. Drop a Slayer so that hopefully I hit a 5th land and I can play like both of these together or both of these together and be mana efficient these next 2 turns. And Slayer means my whole board gets to attack him, which is filthy. I would rather Most Valuable Slayer not die to a +3/+0 trick. And yeah, since every creature they play gets haste, that was like a really suspicious attack. Okay, cool. They're at 13. Hit for a good chunk of damage. They have 2 mana up here. 2 mana should not be able to kill a 4 toughness card, so I can beat down with Slayer and play Zealot. Seems these. Like, unless it's a Betrayer's Bargain where they sack something to deal the 6. Okay, it's the Inside Out, sure. Get your 2/2. We got that out of there. An 0/4 blocker up. Playing against 5 power here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I wish I had my own turn Inside Out, because then I'd be threatening lethal, sending the whole team in. 6, 7 power over there. If they don't block, this is a little risky. But I feel like they should block, because if we have any combat trick, they're dead. Opponent's got cojones. Here's the Zealot. They have to kill me now or they're super dead. Oh my god, no. Fear of burning alive, man. God. Alright. They got me. We could have played it safer. Definitely could have won. Just tried to get it over. Got a little impatient. That was such a bold move for my opponent. But sometimes that's what you gotta do, right? I think it was definitely the right play from them. If they had the Fear of Burning alive in hand, it's like, well, the only way I win this game is if somehow I don't die right now. I need every single one of these creatures to lethal on the crackback with this Fear of Burning alive. Yeah, gross. Pretty slow hand here to have on the draw. Not super happy right now, but our mana is excellent with it. Black-white from our opponent. 50 copies of Glimmerlight the deck. Make one of these a 3/3. It's gonna... Excuse me. It's gonna be annoying. Centipede lines up really badly against Glimmerlight. Our hand in general does. 2 Glimmerlights is just really rude. I think I still have to play Centipede first because any creature I draw I can play alongside Flame Guide. Sure. I don't know why they even killed that, but I'm cool with it. Because they're already just sneaking right past it for 3 out of the 4 damage. They can save the removal for a better card. So I feel like that was a pretty profitable turn for me. Not super profitable draws, but the Horde Caller is going to go a really long way here. Sure. Ooh. The double hit, though. So one of those is exiled forever. Tragic. I definitely can't afford to just play Horde Caller right now and lose out on this extra value when I have 4 extra lands sitting in my hand. I need every bit of card advantage I can get. We just dropped the 2/4. Forces them to have a 3rd removal spell to get through. Why not? Okay. Now they need a 5th removal spell, and even if they have it, I can have a 2/2 at least, but then they can Glimmerlight over, make a 3/3. This is ridiculous, honestly. You can just Glimmerlight a 3/3 up and send in here. Pretty happy with the order that we've chosen to sequence things, but just the stack of removal from our opponent has been devastating. But thanks to the order we've sequenced things, we get to double spell these next turn, trying to stabilize. Okay, we made it to a top deck war. Let's see who can draw better from here. Probably should have just done this while they were tapped out. Oh my god, dude. I should have waited. I'm letting them hit me for 3 instead of 2 here. I'm just getting very impatient from this deck. I mean, more the draws. That was such a top deck. Okay, here's my top deck. They finding the flood now? One life. think I'm only sending these two in. The only way to hit harder is to tap Playmate and Swarmweaver, in which case I'm holding one blocker up, and that is really risky. Okay, that's super good here. Oh wait, no it's not. They've only played Glimmers. Oh yeah, I exiled their creature they would have been able to get back. Okay. It's still pretty dang good here. Urge does not kill the Glimmer before it kills the Swarmweaver, so we just allow it. I guess I could have went Playmate and Urge, traded 2 cards into it instead of just the Swarmweaver, but I think it was worth doing that. My insects are smaller, but I just traded a single card into it instead of multiple. Okay, love that draw. Trayer's Bargain certainly makes me feel safer, and Fear of Missing Out gets the kill pretty quickly here. Fear of Missing Out with a double strike trick is really good, but I don't know that I'm just going to throw it out there against the black-white deck of like 50 removal spells. Gross. Okay, full control mode. I need to exile that before they get the 3-1. Before its trigger goes on the stack. Alright, so they don't get a creature out of it. They do get the free unlock. But there's nothing to pick up with the unlock. Okay. 1 black mana? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? It's not even lethal. Well, no, 6 power. Sorry, 3 power, so 6 per hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Alright, whatever, I'm gonna go for it. Against a single mana. I don't think they can stop it. Yep. Cool. Yeah, double strike Fear Missing Out is wild. Well, alright. That was a rocky start to that game. Just all the removal clumped up at once. So I'm just dying to 2 1-1s. Certainly a frustrating start after I punted away our last game. So I was really worried it was going to be the 4-0 into the 0-3, the consequences of my own actions kind of thing, but really hit some good draws later there, and they finally stopped drawing removal. Found like, you know, hospital room stuff, some extra lands here probably. The Ghostly Dancers was a really strong draw, but luckily we had the removal drawn just in time. So huge work from Swarmweaver to pull us out of that one. But we are now 5-1, heading into game number 7. All right, we need a red source real bad for this one. 4 red cards. This isn't an insta-mulligan like a lot of the others have been, because at least we have an on-color 2-drop to play. And that is actually a big factor in whether the hand is keepable, but we also need double red to cast this Fear of Being Hunted, so I'm going to take the mulligan. This is more reasonable. We ditch the Break Down the Door, and any land draw is fantastic, and Fear of Missing Out actually makes this super reasonable. If I don't naturally hit the green source, I can just ditch the Centipede towards more mana, period. Double mulligan from our opponent. Looks like no one's happy with the start of this game. Cameo fan over there. Adorable sleeves. Team Fibblesip over here. And Team Bolas at the same time. Represent. I really like these sleeves. These are the extra live sleeves in the shop right now. But they're like legitimately the perfect sleeves for me as a Bolas fan and a Fibblesip fan. Just actual perfection. Alright, goodbye, Centipede. Please tap out a fungus's ability somehow. That works. Goodbye, FOMO. Now let's draw any land in the world and just start slaying. Ramping up with the Moldering Gem, they find a black source, and I lied. I meant any untapped land in the world. The deck. How could you do this to me? Oh, it's untapped now because I put them to 12. Correct sequencing is correct. That's not suspicious at all. Well, our best play is going to be the most valuable Slayer pre or post combat, so show me what your nonsense is. Just going to counter it, or are you going to blow up my fear of being hunted, or what's going on here? Boop. Boop. No. No! Well, I'll redraw that. It's got haste. Zealot. Ooh. Somebody is about to block bad. 1 black mana Arena's holding for them? Gotta be an alchemy card unless they're playing in full control mode. I don't remember any 1 black mana instance in the main set. But I guess if there is one, Fear of Being Hunted is about to die to it. Cool. This is such a stupid way to do it, but it's funny. That is exact lethal on board. They need instant speed interaction. Ooh, make their life total 4, draw 4. So it was alchemy nonsense. There is a 1 black mana instant. Wait, why was it holding for them though? Because X can't be 0, so they can't cast it for 1 black mana. We're mythic, woo! I guess it holds for them anyway. Oh, their deck is so cool. I guess that's not because they draft. That's just because they bought this card style, but that card style is so cool. And the card's very cool too. Yeah. Rougher, slower draw for our opponent against our just really aggressive Gruul deck's going to give us the win there, but... yeah, I guess we literally found the super correct attack somehow. I was like, I mean, this is a way to get lethal. That's the funniest way to get lethal, so we'll just do that. And somehow it plays literally perfectly against the Welcome to Darkness. Put them to 4, get the 4/4 blockers. So they've got 2 blockers up now. So if I just attacked with these 3 and made these both 3/4s, they would have killed one of my 3/4s, chumped the Fear of Being Hunted, taken 3. They would have been at 1 life and this game would still be going on. But because I chose to spread it all out in case of some random instant speed flash creature or something, we still find lethal. Exactly. And the only reason is because their instant speed flash creature cost them 2 life. If it didn't, if it was just some other instant speed flash creature, they could still go block, block, take 4 and be at 2 life because they were at 6 before they cast that. That's so funny. How is that even possible? Well, that probably makes up for the one game that I mega punted out of it. I somehow just full prophetic, just genius found the right play in that one. We are 6-1 now, heading into the final battle. This will be the final, well, Actually, it's the final boss, but we've got 2 shots at it. So it's not quite the final battle. I could punt this one away and then we can have a new final boss, but hopefully, fingers crossed, the final battle this time around. All right, opponent is on the play here for our first shot at the final boss. We've got Watchdog into Zone Guard, so if Watchdog can mill a land, this is going to be a beautiful start. However, the mirror match on the draw means our opponent is favored here, just for being able to roll out all of their spells first and be the aggressor. Okay, at least Watchdog plays pretty well here, holds off that damage. Here comes the Zone Guard. It's not going to hold off any damage, but it's going to ramp us up immediately, so it is worth doing as our first play. Fortunately, a little bit floody in here. Got 7 lands total. Probably just Violent Urge to kill the Flesh Burrower and get their Death Touch out of the way. Shoot. Well, now we can't do that, but at least they spent 2 cards to kill that. Feels not bad at all. So they're stuck on 2 mana. So we got the opposite ends of the table over here, the 2 opposite spectrums, and I think I'd rather be flooded for now. Things are going to be pretty bad once they start hitting their lands, but currently we're favored for sure. We can actually do stuff. Yep, go team go. They're not getting anything in here. Super happy anytime they don't want to take trades on board. Oh, they're just over it. Okay. Still stuck on mana. And they are just done playing the game. That is a 7-1 run in this Alchemy draft. Beautiful stuff from our green-red aggro deck. We didn't get to do too much alchemying around this time around, but we got to do some great green-red delirium stuff. Obviously, we got to do the Fear of Being Hunted Most Valuable Slayer thing. That was pretty beautiful. So that was pretty fun. Especially the game that we killed them because we double buffed an Overgrown Zealot as a 2/4 attacker. That was one of the dream turns there. One of the most fun moments. But Horde Caller was consistently great. There were a couple games, I think, where we had pretty light amounts of action here. Just not a lot going on, but just like a single Horde Caller or 2 helped a ton in making sure that we could get that game going. Fear of Missing Out is probably the biggest overperformer. Swarm Weaver, it's a completely ridiculous card. It stabilizes you, it wins games. We know that, and it did that. But Fear of Missing Out, I have had less opportunities to play with, and this got so much damage in. Where there was that Boros deck that tried to get a 2-turn kill on us real quick, but they like tapped out when they were at like 14 life, and then I got to Fear of Missing Out, send our gigantic Wary Zone Guard back at them, and like overkill them for like 16 or 17 or something with 2 combats and a combat trick. That was disgusting. Also, Fear of Missing Out with the Double Striker against that black-white deck helped us win that game a turn or 2 faster to make sure they didn't have any more time to potentially top deck some other bomb rare to try to save them. Fear of Missing Out was finding damage today, and part of what is so strong about the card is that even in the games that we just played it and got a 2/3 discarded a card, draw a card, that was already good. Like just playing that and then trading it off to help stabilize, or playing that and having them spend a removal spell on it, it's already a good rate for only 2 mana. So really big fan of Fear of Missing Out. That's probably the biggest overperformer. But yeah, the only alchemy card we got to play was Wary Zone Guard and Eager Flame Guide. But both were great. Wary Zone Guard more consistently good. We just saw it more often, and it played really well with Fear of Missing Out. And it was just consistently a gigantic creature by the end of the game. So huge stuff from Wary Zone Guard. But Flame Guide also played well. There was the one game that we got to play Flame Guide and Horde Caller in the same turn. That was pretty sick, getting that value out of the first ability. And there was a game where the second ability got us good value. It died, and we hit like a Most Valuable Slayer and an Overgrown Zealot. And it was a little awkward because I only had 5 mana that turn, so I couldn't play both of them. But it was still nice to draw the extra card. We just played the Slayer there, I believe. So, yeah, sweet stuff from everybody in the deck. decent stuff from the alchemy cards. Would have liked to play with a little bit more alchemy, but still great stuff, and tons of gems for our prize out today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.